Hi everyone. So, it seems I owe you an apology and a bit of an explanation as well. You might have noticed that I haven't uploaded a video in quite some time. And, well, I could give a number of excuses for why I haven't, but it all boils down to the fact that I got lazy and I procrastinated. And I failed. I broke my promise to you. I said I wasn't going to let myself slip from my schedule again. I said I was going to make sure I uploaded all the videos on time, and I didn't. So I failed. I'm sorry. I really am. I did make the videos. I did sit down and record them, and then I didn't upload them. It's funny how, like, I can do the videos, I can record the videos, I can do that, I can put the energy and effort into actually recording the videos, and yet somehow I get too lazy to actually go on YouTube and upload them. I'll tell you, the main reason for this is I say I don't edit my storytime videos because I want them to feel natural. I want it to feel like you're just sitting down with me and I'm reading you a story. But something happened in one of the videos which meant I had to edit it. I won't say what it was, but like, I can't not edit that video. There is something I have to edit out. And that was what I was putting off doing. I made the video Wednesday night, like I always do, and then I figured, because something went wrong, again, I'm not saying what, but something happened that I thought, okay, I can't leave that in, I need to edit it out. And then, because it was already Wednesday night, and it was quite a long video as well, I was just, after the video was done, I was like, I just don't feel like editing it right now, and so I put it off, and I continue to put it off. And again, I can make the usual excuses. I had a lot of other stuff on my plate, and there was a lot of stress, and I was busy with other things, blah blah blah. But the bottom line is, I procrastinated, I was lazy, and my schedule slipped as a result of that, and I feel bad because I made a promise to myself and to you guys that I wouldn't let that happen again, and yeah, I did. So yeah, I'm sorry. I will get those videos uploaded. I don't want to say, I don't want to give a specific time as to when I will upload them. But I will upload them at some point. But I was thinking, just before I started recording this, and when I was thinking of what I was going to say, I was thinking how I don't dislike doing these videos, but they are starting to become like, not a chore, that's not really a good word, but they're starting to feel like something that I have to do rather than something I want to do. And from what I've experienced with other people doing stuff like this, when something starts to feel like that, when it starts to feel like you're an obligation, rather than something you do because you actually want to do it, then it's time to stop and take a break for a while. I'm not saying I'm going to stop immediately because I'm in the middle of a book, so yeah. But I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna maybe take a break after I finish reading Mostly Harmless, or not. We'll see how I feel when I get to the end. But I will definitely finish Mostly Harmless. I will do my best to get those videos edited and uploaded as quickly as possible. They're going to be massively behind schedule. But I will get them uploaded at some point. I just don't know when. So yeah, so that was my apology and confession and announcement. Now, on a lighter note, one of my patrons, Angel, has generously upgraded to the $2 tier, which means that now Angel is free to request me to read a chapter of a book or a short story, including a story of his own creation if he so desires. That's the $2 tier on my Patreon, by the way. You can request a single chapter of a book or a short story. It can be your own work or it can be someone else's work. And Angel has requested me to read a short story, which I believe is titled Hollywood Chickens by Terry Pratchett. So, if I can find it. Okay, skip the italic part. Start, but the part at the end is part of the story, I'm told. And also I'm told that this is better read if you don't read it first. So this is my first time reading it, and I've also been told that it was very funny. So I might end up laughing a lot, but we'll see. Okay, here we go. The facts are these. In 1973, a lorry overturned at a freeway interchange in Hollywood. It was one of the busiest in the United States, and therefore the world. It shed some of its load. It had been carrying chickens. A few crates broke. Alongside the interchange, bordered on three sides by thundering traffic and on the fourth by a wall, is there going to be a fourth wall joke here, was a quarter-mile of heavily shrubbed verge. No one bothered too much about a few chickens. Peck, peck. Scratch, scratch. Cluck. It is a matter of record that after a while those who regularly drove this route noticed that the chickens had survived. There were, and indeed still are, sprinklers on the verge to keep the greenery alive, and presumably the meagre population of bugs was supplemented by edible fallout from the constant stream of traffic. The chickens seemed to be settling in. They were breeding. Peck, peck, scratch, peck. Peck, scratch, peck, peck. Peck plus peck equals squawk. Cluck. A rough census indicated that the population stabilised at around 50 birds. For the first few years, young chickens would frequently be found laminated to the backtop, but some sort of natural selection appeared to be operating, or if we may put it another way, flat hens don't lay eggs. Passing motorists did occasionally notice a few birds standing at the curb, staring intently at the far verge. They looked like birds with a problem, they said. Squawk, peck, peck, crow. 1, peck, squawk, peck. 2, squawk, crow, peck. 3, squawk, squawk, crow. 4, scratch, crow, peck, walk. Ooh, there's chocobos in there as well. 5, neck stretch, peck, crow. 6, peck, 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 preen feathers. 7, peck, foot, scratch, crow. 8, crow, scratch. 9, peck, weird gurgling noise, peck. 10, scratch, peck, crow, walk, to keep it holy. In fact, apart from the occasional chick or young bird, no chicken was found dead on the freeway itself, apart from the incident in 1976, when 10 chickens were seen to set out from the curb together during the rush hour peak. This must have represented a sizable proportion of the chicken population at that time. The driver of a gas tanker said that at the head of the little group was an elderly cockerel, who stared at him with supreme self-confidence, apparently waiting for something to happen. Examination of the tanker's front offside wing suggests that the bird was a Rhode Island red. Cogito ergo cluck. Periodically an itinerant, or the just plain desperate, would dodge the traffic to the verge and liberate a sleeping chicken for supper. This originally caused some concern to the Department of Health, who reasoned that the feral chickens, living as they did so close to the traffic, would have built up dangerously high levels of lead in their bodies, not to mention other noxious substances. In 1978, a couple of research officers were sent into the thickets to bring back a few birds for a sacrifice to science. The birds' bodies were found to be totally lead-free. We do not know whether they checked any eggs. This is important, see document C. They did remark incidentally, however, that the birds appeared to have been fighting amongst themselves, see document F, Patterns of Aggression in Enclosed Environments, Hillockson and Frim, 1981. We must assume, in view of later developments, that this phase passed. 4 peck neck stretch and 7 cluck scratch ago, our crow peck left foot squawk brought forth upon this cluck cluck squawk. In the early hours of 10th of March 1981, police officer James Tucker Stasheff, in pursuit of a suspect following a chase which resulted in a 7-car collision a little way from the verge, saw a construction apparently made of long twigs held together with cassette tape extending several feet into the carriageway. 2 chickens were on the end of it with twigs in their beaks. They looked as if they was nest building, he now recalls. I went past again about 10 a.m. It was all smashed up in the gutter. Officer Stasheff went on to say, you always get tapes along the freeway, any freeway. See, when they get snarled up in the Blaupunkt or whatever, people just rip them out and pitch them through the window. I'm not sure why he's Cockney when he's supposed to be American, but whatever. According to Roos and Sixbury, Bulletin of the Arkham Ornithological Society, Volume 17, pages 124 to 132, 1968, birds may, under conditions of chronic stress, build nests of unusual size and complexity, document D. This is not necessarily advanced as an explanation. Peck, peck, scratch. Scratch, 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 scratch. The collapse of a small section of carriageway near the verge in the summer of 1983 is not considered germane to this study. The tunnel underneath it was put down to gophers, or foxes, or some other burrowing animal. What were irresponsibly described as shoring timbers must simply have been, for example, bits of timber that accidentally got carried into the tunnel by floodwater, as it were, and wedged. Undoubtedly the same thing happened with the feathers. If cluck were meant to fly, they'd have bigger flap. Testimony of Officer Stasheff again. This must have been around late August 1984. This trucker told me he was driving past. It would have been around mid-afternoon when this thing comes flapping. He said flapping out of the bushes and right across the freeway, and he's watching it and it doesn't lose height. And next thing he knows, it bounces off his windshield and breaks up. He said he thought it was kids or something, so I went and had a look at the bushes, but no kids. Just a few of the chickens scratching about and a load of junk, you wouldn't believe the kind of junk that ends up by the side of the roads. I found what was left of the thing that had hit him. It was like a sort of cage with these kind of big wings on and all full of pulleys and more bits of cassette tapes and levers and stuff. What? Oh, yeah, and these chickens all smashed up. I mean, who'd do something like that? 1 minute flying chickens, next minute McNuggets. I recall there were 3 of them, all cockerels and brown. It's a small scratch for a cluck, a giant flap for cluck. Testimony of Officer Stasheff again, 19th of July 1986. Kids playing with fire, that's my opinion. They get out over the wall and make hideouts in the bushes. Like I said, they just grab one of the chickens. I don't see why everyone's so excited. So some kids fill an old trash can with junk and fireworks and stuff and push a damn chicken in it and blow it up in the air. It'd have caused a hell of a lot of damage if it hadn't hit one of the bridge supports on the far side. Bird inside got all smashed up. It got this cloth in there with strings all over. Maybe the kids thought the thing could use a parachute. Okay, so there's a crater. What the hell? Plant a bush in it. What? Sure, it'd be hot. It's where they were playing spacemen. Not that kind of hot? What kind of hot? Peck, neck twist minus crow equals gurgle over c squared. Cluck? We do know that at about 2 a.m. on the morning of 3rd of May 1989, a purple glow was noticed by several drivers in the bushes around the middle of the verge. Some say it was a blue glow. From a cross-checking of the statements, it appeared to last for at least 10 minutes. There was also a noise. We have a number of descriptions of this noise. It was sort of weird, kind of a whooping sound, and rather like radio oscillation. The only one we have been able to check is the description from Curtis V.J. MacDonald, who said, in that Star Trek episode when they meet the fishmen from an alternate Earth, well, the fishmen's matter transmitter made just the same noise. We have viewed the episode in question. It is the one where Captain Kirk falls in love with the girl, tape A. Clark, foot twist square root 2t beta sigma over pec over scratch squared asterisk asterisk oon gurgle left shoulder preen equals right shoulder preen. Clark, seriously, how would you read that? Where's it? You can't see that. It's like H M M M M. It's like alternating between capital M and small m. We also know that the person calling himself Elrond X, an itinerant, entered the area around 2 a.m. When located subsequently, he said, "Yeah, well, maybe sometimes I used to take a chicken, but there's no law against it. Anyway, I stopped because it was getting very heavy. I mean, it was the way they were acting, the way they looked at you, their beady eyes. But times are tough, and I thought, okay, why not? There's no chickens there, man. Someone's been through it. There's no chickens." When asked about the assemblage, he said, "There was only this pile of junk in the middle of the bushes. It was just twigs and wire and junk. And eggs, only you never touch the eggs. We know that. Some of those eggs give you a shock, like electricity. Because you never asked me before, that's why. Yeah, I kicked it over. Because there was this chicken inside it, okay? But when I went up close, there was this flash and like a clap of thunder, and it went all wavy and disappeared. I ain't taking that from no chicken." Thus far, we have been unable to reassemble the assemblage, photos A through G. There is considerable doubt as to its function, and we have dismissed Mr. X's view that it was a real funky microwave oven. It appeared simply to have been a collection of roadside debris and twigs held together with cassette tape, the best of Queen. It may have had some religious significance. From drawings furnished by Mr. X, there appeared to have been space inside for one chicken at a time. Document C contains an analysis of the 3 eggs found in the debris. As you will see, one of them seems normal but infertile, the second has been powering a flashlight bulb for 2 days, and a report on the third is contingent on our finding either it or Dr. Paperbug, who was last seen trying to cut into it with a saw. For the sake of completeness, please note document B, which is an off-print of Paperbuck and Macklin's Western Science Journal paper, Exaggerated Evolutionary Pressures on Small Isolated Groups Under Stress. All that we can be certain of is that there are no chickens in the area where chickens have been for the last 17 years. However, there are now 47 chickens on the opposite verge. Why they crossed is, of course, one of the fundamental riddles of popular philosophy. That is not, however, the problem. We don't know how. But it's not such a great verge over there, and they're all clustered together, and some of the hens are laying. We're just going to have to wait and see how they get back. Clark? Author's note. In 1973, a lorry overturned at a freeway interchange in Hollywood. It was one of the busiest in the United States, and therefore the world. Some chickens escaped and bred. They survived, are surviving very well, even in the hazardous atmosphere of the roadside. But this story is about another Hollywood, and other chickens. There you go. So, thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and if you are subscribed, be sure to ding that notification bell so you know when I make a new video, because I can do it whenever I feel like it. Thanks to my patrons, Angel, who requested that story, Modrin and Aaron. If you want to request me to read a story, then feel free to donate to my higher tiers. The more money you donate, the more I will read for you, so it's equal exchange, I think. And also, if you like books, you can check out Angel's Amazon page. Is because he writes books and sells them on Amazon, so you can go buy them and read them if you like. They're really good. I've read a few myself, and I even helped edit some of them. So yeah. But yeah, thank you for your support in whatever form it comes. Even just sharing the videos is enough. I'll see you again next week. I'll load this video right now. I will do that. Love and peace.